Hey, everybody. My name is Ethan. I'm 31 years old. My story is not like others because most people can find out about cheating from friends. Some may catch lovers in bed, but I found out about my wife cheating in a completely different way. To be honest, I found out about my wife's infidelity completely by accident. My wife, Emily, is 27 years old and I am, as I said, 31. I own a large business. I inherited the assets of a manufacturing company from my late father, who owned it during the turbulent 90s. Already at the age of 24, I was living large. I was part of the golden youth. Running a business was very difficult, so it was not much fun. I worked all day long. The money flowed, but I realized that I couldn't take another couple of years of this kind of work. Then I found a company director from the American Association of Publishers. He took over all the work processes. With the arrival of the new director, I had a lot of free time, and I realized that I was ready to start a family. I started looking for a wife. I looked for about a year, but everything happened very spontaneously. I went to an expensive restaurant to meet some friends, but there, not far from the Columbia University campus, right by the garden, who was there, knows I saw a girl who was sitting and crying. I wanted to walk by, but then I saw her looking at me. I swear her face was the most beautiful in the world. I wouldn't trade her for Jennifer Aniston. I was stunned. I felt sorry for her. I won't describe what happened next. It was like a fairy tale. She was from a distant small town. She came to study. She was expelled. And then I showed up on a white horse. Well, okay. I didn't have a horse, but I had a Cadillac. She was even more beautiful than the first time I saw her. I always held her hand if she was seen without me. Men would rush to her. There was no limit to my happiness. I had accidentally found the most beautiful girl in the world. 6 months later, I proposed to her. She said yes, and we got married. It was a lavish wedding. Half the guests were TV people. I did not tell my wife about what I do, and what I own she was not interested. So it was very unusual for her to see people from the media thanking me for my help. It was like a dream come true to have this beautiful woman by my side, and it was like being in a fairy tale. In the first few months of our marriage, we traveled extensively, visiting different countries, staying in 5-star hotels, and dining in the most luxurious restaurants. It was everything I envisioned in a perfect life. After the wedding, Emily began to realize a little more about the kind of man she was living with. She was everything I dreamed of, but there was something about her that she couldn't tell me about. Something was constantly weighing on her. At first, I thought she couldn't get used to my influence and the big money, but it was something else. I noticed that she was often absorbed in her own thoughts, staring blankly out the window, and sometimes waking up in the middle of the night and crying. When I asked her what was wrong, she always waved it off, saying it was just a bad dream. But I could see that whatever it was eating her up inside. So I decided to look into what she had done before, since she didn't want to talk about her past. I assigned this task to one of my subordinates, and he said he would get the information in a few days. During these days, I tried to spend more time with Emily, taking her out on dates, trying to make her laugh, and just being there for her. I wanted her to open up to me, to confide in me everything that was bothering her, but she couldn't. It felt like there was an invisible wall between us, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't break it down. Before getting any information about her past, I approached her and asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell me about her past. She looked at me for a long time, as if hesitant to say anything. At one point, she cried, hugged me, and asked me to forgive her. But that was the end of the conversation. She didn't say anything to me, just cried, apologized, and called herself a fool. I hugged her and told her that whatever it was, we could get through this together. I told her that I loved her more than anything in the world and that nothing could change that. But in the back of my mind, I knew something was terribly wrong. Soon my assistant came in with a large folder and a video disc. I asked him to help me sort through the paperwork, but first, I decided to see what was on the disc. My assistant ran out of the office. For some reason, he was acting strange. I put the disc into the computer, and there it was. The video showed Emily with 3 men, and the movie was called Chicken and the Rooster. I was shocked. The first thing I did was smash the computer, then the TV, and I took out all my anger on things in the office. When I had no energy left, I just sat down and didn't know what to do. I still don't to this day. I remember sitting there, surrounded by the shards of my office and feeling completely numb. My mind was blank, and my heart felt like it had been ripped out of my chest. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. The woman I loved, the woman I married, had a past I couldn't even fathom. I thought about all the moments we had shared, all the times I looked into her eyes and saw only love. Had it all been a lie? Had she been hiding things from me all this time? The next few days passed like a blur. I couldn't bring myself to see Emily. I stayed in my office, trying to make sense of everything that was happening. I knew I had to face her, but I didn't know how to do it. Every time I thought about her, I felt a mixture of love, anger, and betrayal. I wanted to hate her, but I couldn't. I still loved her, no matter what. And that was the hardest part. How could I love someone who lied to me, someone with such a past? Please advise me, should I divorce her? I still love her, but it is dangerous for a man in my position to have a wife with such a past. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to leave likes and comments under the video. It will help more people see this story